picture perfect, no space for mistakes. Every day's a birthday, I'm always getting cake. I'm throwing up confetti cause I'm married to the game. All my drinks on the rocks cause the ice on my ring. Shark with no fin, too real to comprehend. Every day I start a trend all about the Benjamins. Cool nanny smell like it's full of incense. All black red bottoms looking bootylicious. Fighting temptation but I'm such a temptress. Got your cotton my aroma playing with your senses. Blowing Hershey kisses to you and your mistress. No intentions, I'm strictly business. You witness this. Queen, I'm cutting up.
How's everybody doing today? The Proof in the Pudding podcast show. I'm definitely excited about today. I'm your boy Sion 919. We got award-winning songwriter. We got the rapper. We got the singer. We got the actress. We got the visualizer, the content creator, and more. Miss Storm in the building. How you feeling today?
I'm blessed. How are you, King? Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure to have you here. So we just seeing you in action right there. You're having a lot of fun. What was that like creating that video we just saw?
Oh my God. Well, to be completely honest, it was a lot. We had a drummer, that amazing drummer, Jay, Lord have mercy. I call him Jay, but he's a phenomenal drummer. He plays for everybody. He plays for Earth Gang. He plays for just everybody. He's a phenomenal young man. I got a living legend, one of the keyboardists who played for Prince. My guitarist played for Prince. My keyboardist played for everyone. We just had so many different personalities in one room. The singers are phenomenal. You know, it was quite an experience. It took a lot to make that come together.
To make it come together. But that's the thing, right? That's the thing. You being the artist that you are, is like, I see the live band. How important is that live band sound in music to you?
To me personally, it's everything. It really cultivates us as artists and shows us, I'm a recording artist as well, but being a live performer takes a lot more talent. It takes a lot more skill, a lot more practice, rehearsals. It shows who you are really up live and live in color. So, I love it. I love it.
Okay. So let's talk about your early beginnings. So, like, how did you first get into music?
Oh my gosh. I've been on a journey with this music thing. It's like my first love. I'm from a musical family. My uncles, either they have managed or they played. I have musicians in my family, singers. I just come from a very, very long lineage of artists. Excuse me. And then when I actually started in the church, I started singing in the church and in school. And then, I got picked up. I actually made it to Star Search at like 13 from high school. From middle school. And then I actually went on tour with Kirk Franklin and the family. I was one of the youngest vocalists singing in front of huge audiences with the gospel group, Kirk Franklin and the family. So that was pretty awesome. And then I branched off from that at like 17, 18 and started writing for different people. And, it just... here we are.
All right. So what was that experience like? Everybody knows Kirk Franklin, so I'm pretty sure it was some big shows. What was some of your favorite moments?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I was young. When I started touring with them, I was 17 and everyone else was like adults. They can do adult things. I couldn't. So, it was an experience. It was, you have this image of what the church is and Christianity is and what gospel people supposed to be like, but we're human. Everyone is human, and I've seen a lot of things. I was young, and I didn't know a lot of things. And some of my favorite moments, honestly, was just the rush of the congregations that we were singing in front of, and everyone just catching the Holy Ghost and running and crying and. Like from our voices, it was such a powerful thing. Music is such a therapeutic, powerful thing if you use it right. And, that was what I really enjoyed about working with them. Yeah.
Okay. And that's a beautiful thing right there. So it's like you're saying God move and you're using your talent. Yeah. So it's like, okay, now you're a little bit older. You get into the songwriting. So were you always writing, or like, how did you first start writing? Was it poetry or did you start writing, singing songs?
That's funny you said that. That's exactly where it started, poetry. Yep. I started writing poetry first, and then it kind of like I started counting bars, learning how to count bars and start putting things together. And, just writing. I'm an avid writer, and writing is so important to me because it's therapeutic. Whether I'm talking about my own experiences or things that I've witnessed, writing is just an outlet. And once I started, getting into it and actually being able to, spit the bars with cadence and learn what cadence is and delivery is, and then
Right.
singing and learn how to, from being from the church, singing from my heart, from my soul, singing from my diaphragm, all those things, all those skills you learn along the way, it made writing just it's just fluid. It's just something I do.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you. Okay. So you rap and you sing.
I
So,
do.
all right. Who were some of your first inspirations in rap? Like what
Don't
female
laugh.
rappers? I'm not gonna
Don't
laugh
laugh.
at you.
Don't laugh.
Nah.
I I can't really name a lot of female rappers that influence me. I love and pay homage and respect to Queen Latifah, MC Light.
Right.
It was a chick from the West Coast. I can't remember her name right now. Afro Puff, Lady
Oh,
Rage.
Lady
I
Rage. Right.
love that they were so beautiful, but yet so thorough. And I'm from the streets, so it was like, yes, it was like, yes.
Right.
But the rappers that really inspire me, and I listen to their instrumentals, and what used to write to them was Too Short,
Wow.
UGK, 8 Ball,
Okay.
MJG, Tila, the
Wow.
Loonies. And I actually had the opportunity to be in the studio at like 18 in the studio with Loonies when they was working on I Got Five on it. That's how long, I'm telling
Wow.
my age now. That's how long I've been in this business.
Wow.
So
So
yeah, I like tongue twisting rappers that knew how to ride the track, like Twister, Bone Thugs and Harmony, being from Ohio, that's like everything. We started that thing. So
wow. Okay. All right. Right there. So now, okay, you from Ohio, right? How did you wind up in the studio with the Loonies?
one of my producers by the name of Derek Bennett. He goes by DB the Iceman. We were a part of a collective, and he's actually one of the people who gave me my name, Miss Storm. We were in a group called 839 Underworld, and we had an X-Man crew. He was Iceman, I was Miss Storm, and we had a couple of other members. And he was producing for them. He was producing a track for them, and he was like, Storm, come in the studio. I want you to see this, be a part of this or whatever, sing something. And, he always brought me in, and I just thank him so much for that. He always brought me in. He done music with everyone, and it was just that day. He was like, yeah, the Loonies in here. I didn't know who they was. Some
Right.
West Coast cats all the way in Ohio. I had no idea who they was. And I'm like, wow. Now, like 20 years later, I'm hearing that song in like the movies, in Jordan Peele's movie. And I'm just like, it's
Wow.
crazy. It's
How far
crazy.
it's come. How far it's
Yeah.
come. So let me
Yeah.
ask you, okay, so what was the sound like in Ohio back then?
Um, one thing about Ohio, we always resonated with live instrumentation. You got Bootsy Collins, you got the Isley Brothers, James Brown band. Most of them was from Ohio. You got the Ohio Players. I mean, that's funk and hip hop soul. It's kind of like what we're known for, but we always interpret live instrumentation, and that's why it's important to me to do it as well, because it's just what I know. Every great band or artist that has come out of Ohio has always incorporated live instrumentation, and that's just kind of like something we're known for. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So now you make the transition from Ohio to Atlanta. What was making that?
ATL, Shawty.
What was that transition like for you? How was that?
Oh my God. I moved to Atlanta chasing a dream. So I moved to Atlanta in 2012. 2 years prior to me moving to Atlanta, I was signed as a writer to Bad Boy South.
Wow.
And then the deal with Bad Boy South plummeted, and I was already in transition to coming to Atlanta. I was interning at Block A&T, which is like Gorilla Zoe, Young Jock,
Right.
Boys in the Hood back in the day, and I was interning there, coming back and forth like twice a month,
Right.
and I was already, scoping where I was going to move. And I loved, Ohio and Georgia are completely different as far as
Right.
demographic goes.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is, in Ohio, you don't see a lot of African American people in upper management in the managerial positions and, jobs. And they're not, the ones making the shots, the final decisions in Ohio. It's
Right.
it's a melting pot, but it's not, Black entrepreneurship like it is in Atlanta. And when I came here and seen that, I knew this is where I wanted to be. I knew this is where I needed to be. This is where I was going to grow my businesses, my brand, and network with the right people to get my music out there better. So
Right.
I moved on faith. I moved here with nothing. Absolutely nothing. Deal just plummeted. I had a little bit of money I was working with, and it had to stretch because the deal had flopped. So,
Right.
yeah, it was an experience. I moved here, and I'm a mother of 4. I have 4
Wow.
kids. Yeah, and we
Right.
all moved here. We was homeless for a short period of time here. Living in my car. I had my keyboard, my computer, and notebooks of songs. And I said, this is what I got. This is what I got.
Right.
But
Wow.
God is good. And having faith is everything. That's it.
Right. Right. There's almost like The Pursuit of Happiness, the Will Smith movie.
I love that movie.
Right. And that's real. That's one of those
Yeah,
movies
it's
where you
real.
just determined you can't give up. So let me
It's
ask,
real.
okay, so now you're in Atlanta. What was the music scene like out there compared to Ohio?
Oh my gosh. I remember the first night I went out to like an open mic here in Atlanta, and I was just like, wow, the talent. I was always told, oh, Storm, you can sing, girl, you can rap, you got the look, you the whole package, from people in the business, family, friends. I've always been told that. And I'm like, coming to Atlanta, like, they ain't got nothing on me. I'm about to come here and,
Right.
I'm
And
about to
take
come
it
here and
over.
show them how Storm do. Man, I
Right.
went to Apache. It's a little brownstone downtown. I went to Apache Lounge, I think is what it's called. And I fell in love with that place. It was like some Apollo, ish. It was some Apollo stuff. People, if you couldn't sing, they would boo you up out of there. And if you
Wow.
could sing, they showed love. So I remember going a couple of times and watching, getting a feel for how everybody was, getting down. And then I went up there and it was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. It's the live, the music scene in Atlanta is like nothing else I've ever seen besides DC. I don't know if you're familiar with DC,
A little bit.
with the whole go-go scene.
Right.
And that is nothing else like it. That in Atlanta, that's it.
Wow. Wow. So, okay, let me ask you, when we talk about the bands and stuff like that, have you ever been to Louisiana? Because they get
Oh
down
yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, with what they call those third lines front. I'm gonna say it wrong.
I think I'm gonna say it wrong too, but I know what you're talking about.
The line. It's some kind of drum line they do. They do it at funerals. They do it whenever the opportunity presents itself. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you, you say you had a deal that kind of went, that didn't fall through. So let me ask you, a lot of people that may be watching, they may be artists. They think, I'm going to get a deal. My life is going to change. I'm set. Let's talk about both sides, because I'm pretty sure being in the game, you've seen both sides of it.
I'm seeing both sides. So I would say when you get a deal, your life is going to change. It is going to change. That's for sure. That's a fact. Now, depending on what type of deal you get determines which way it's going to change. Getting a deal with a machine, that's what I call it. It's a machine. You got a whole backing behind you, from PR to management to, stylist to everything. If you get a good deal, you have a whole machine behind you, to where as long as you creating dope music and you get it, you making dope music, they're going to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. Now, the part of the business that I specialize in now is the most important part of the business, and it's publishing. And if you don't know about publishing and you don't have your publishing squared away right with the deal, then you can get upfront money, you can get tour money, you may get walkthrough money. But if your publishing isn't tied into a good deal where you're getting a good percentage of it or all of it, then legacy wise, longevity wise, like when we were talking about the Loonies, for example, this is a classic song. If you're making classics and they're going to be played in movies and films and on the radio for life, like Pac and Biggie, if you don't have that publishing, you're not going to eat, because publishing is how you eat. So it just depends on what type of deal you get. Me, I had a publishing deal. That was the deal that I had, and it flopped. And I've had writer deals, writing deals for different certain albums, songs, stuff like that. I negotiate my own deals because that's what I do. And I would always advise any artist that's watching and trying to get into the business, if chasing the deal is your dream and that's what you feel you need, make sure you got an attorney or someone, a liaison that knows about publishing and how your money, your royalties are going to be. Royalties and points are important because this is how you eat. You know,
Right.
it's not like any other job. You can sign your life away on the wrong contract. I've had contracts. I got contracts in this office right now that's about this thick. And after having several attorneys look at them, they said, Storm, no, don't sign this. You signing your name away, your publishing away, creative
Right.
control away. All those things are in those contracts. And if you don't read them with a fine tooth comb, you'll miss over something and be giving away your life's work. So, you know,
Right.
it's important to know the business. There's plenty of books and, sites out now, 20 years later that you can read. So there's no excuse to get into a bad deal when it's too much knowledge out there and information for you to actually take time and read. It's a business.
Right. Right. It's definitely the recording business. You
It's a
said it. You
business.
said a powerful thing right there, right? Because we hear
Mhm.
the stories a lot of times. People
Oh yeah.
they get into disagreements. So these big stars, they don't own the publishing. I think a couple people just got their publishing sold and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
It
So
happens. It happens
right.
to the
And
best of us.
how hard is it going in with the big machine to keep your publishing? Like you said, if you just going in, what's the odds of getting a good deal on your publishing coming fresh out of nothing?
Right now, better than it was when I was signing agreements.
Right. Right.
Right now, it's better. It's a little better because now there's all type of laws being passed, bills being passed that's helping the artists, that's for the artists and in favor of making sure that they're getting compensated.
Right.
15, even 10 years ago, a lot of these laws, a lot of these different organizations that are in place right now didn't exist. So it's a lot better. Is it still the best route? It's an individual thing.
Right.
If you have a budget, if you have sponsors or investors or money to invest into yourself, and you want to give out a message to the world, you want to give yourself out a certain way, and you don't want to have to deal with anyone telling you what to wear, when to drop it, where to do shows at, where the venues are. If you want to have total control over your art and you have money to do that, then you don't need a label. You don't need a deal. You don't need it, you know, because there's individuals like myself and many others that specialize in certain things that you can, afford to pay either pro bono or on a, payment plan to where you can still get out here and execute,
Right.
professionally, successfully and do what you want to do. If you're working at McDonald's or whatever little job that you have and you just have this dream and you don't care about all of those things. You don't care if you got a dream of dropping your album in February, but the label say, no, we're going to put you on the shelf for 2 years because we got this album coming. We got this album coming. We want to build you up more. We want to, it's a process. It's
Right.
all a business at the end of the day. Just like when they came up with McDonald's, they didn't just say, okay, McDonald's going to grow up here, start here. I mean, it was a process. It's a process. It's steps. And, and if you don't want to go by steps and you just want to throw something out there, see how the world reacts, I would say do that too. It wouldn't hurt. Art is art. Like for instance, I remember a young brother by the name of Trinidad James.
Right.
Gold all in my mouth, my mouth.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I met this brother when he was working as a shoe salesman in Little 5 Points, downtown Atlanta. Have no idea he rapped. Cool brother, just fly. He had something real different about him, but he sold shoes. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Wow.
And one night I was in the studio and he was in the same studio I was in. And I heard him recording the song and I knew right then, I said, that's a hit. That is
Wow.
a hit. You get what I'm saying? That happens with so many. I mean, I'm always in the studio working. So that has happened with so many artists that I can name. Trinidad James, Earth Gang. I remember when Earth Gang was performing, at the open mics regularly and they just had something about them. So, I mean,
Right.
don't let stuff like that stop you from being great. Get out here, get your talent out here, get it heard. You never know who's watching, who's listening. The deal thing will come into the place. If you're dope, the labels are going to come to you. Once they start coming to you, then you have leverage to negotiate what you
Right.
want to do, or if you want to do anything with them at all. If you build your name up on your own and build your following up on your own on all these social medias and you start getting monetized,
Right.
you're doing it already. You're doing everything already. That's it.
Right. And that's
That's
the
it.
thing. So when we talk about publishing, you say that's like films, TV, and stuff like that. How did you get into that, and how did you make that transition?
Okay, so as I was just saying, I had music. I had it on my soul. I wanted to get it out here. So it was this website called Reverb Nation. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I remember Reverb. Yeah.
Yes, I put my music up on Reverb Nation. One of the music supervisors, well, several music supervisors reached out to me and like, hey, what are you doing with this song, Guns N' Roses? This song is a hit. We want to use it in our film. We want to use it in our commercials. We want to use it in our stores. We want to do this, we want to do it. And I'm like, wow, this was a whole side of the music business that I really didn't know anything about. I didn't even think, how did music end up in that movie? You just watch the movie. You don't even think. You hear that music playing in the background, or you in the store shopping? How did this music end up in the store? At that point, which was about 10 years ago, I didn't know anything about it. So a mentor of mine by the name of Charlie Mack out in Las Vegas, he taught me the ropes of publishing and music licensing and synchronized licensing, because that's what it is, sync royalties and stuff. And he started telling me about it and teaching me about it. And, at the same time, while I was learning, I'm getting stuff placed. I'm taking this information like, okay, let me see if they'll take it. I'm reaching out to music supervisors. When you watch a movie or a TV show, when the credits come down, you'll see the names of the music supervisors. I will go and find these people.
Wow.
I will go and find these people. Yeah, I'm giving you real juice. I will go and find these people, reach out to them, say, hey, I got a song. I want to know if I think it'll fit good in your show, blah, blah, blah. And 90% of them wouldn't get back to me because it was soliciting.
Right. Right.
But the 10% that did, that's all I do now. That's it.
Wow.
And I've built relationships. And once you get into this part of the business, they like to deal with the same people. So once you get in it, you in it. I've been doing this successfully for the last 10 years. I just had 4 songs placed in a Netflix film, Bridgerton. I don't know if you watch it. It's like a British English show set in like the early 1900s or whatever, but it's big money. Sync is big money. Film is big money. Retail is big money. I have probably over 4 million streams of one of my songs right now from just one video game called 3-Hour 3D Rush. What is it? Rush Hour 3D. It's a huge Rush Hour 3D on Apple, Google Play, whatever. It's on your phone. My kids, one got me hip to it. I said, dang, this game is growing. And next thing you know, my music is the theme song. Let's get it.
Wow. Wow. So that's the thing right there. It's like, you found the lane, you found the way in. Where it's like,
lane,
and that's a beautiful thing, right?
It is, and it's tedious, because now that I found my lane, and I really love getting music placed, not just for myself, but I have 4 clients right now, and I try not to overwhelm myself with too many clients because it takes a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of registering the songs, coding them, making sure that all the payouts and stuff go to the right people, that everything is just a lot of back end work. And so, but I get them placed and I get my music placed and I try to do that, but it takes away from the time that I have to create. So it's like I'm an artist at heart, but once I got into the whole music licensing thing, every day my email is filled up with opportunities, and I'm trying to get them too. Like, I'm gonna get in the studio today. By the end of the day, I'll be so tired from just submitting and creating stuff for placements, placement opportunities in particular, to where I haven't pushed out as much music for myself as I have wanted to and planned to, but
Okay, so the thing with the you said Guns N' Roses, that was a big thing. I seen the trailer and all that. It was a big thing. So let's talk about the concept behind the Guns N' Roses. How did you come up with that?
Oh my God. Yeah, Guns N' Roses is a very personal song. I was in a relationship with a guy that I met when I first moved to Atlanta, and he ended up not being who I thought he was. And one thing led to another. I ended up going to jail for 1.5 years
behind it.
Guns N' Roses. And I wrote the song in jail.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you've seen the trailer, I'm reenacting a pretty painful time in my life, a really crazy time.
Right.
And I'm doing a short film about that whole period of my life, and that song has been the best thing that came from that period.
From that pain.
It's ironic. It is very ironic. One of the most tragic times of my life created one of the best things in my life. There's a saying that goes, all bad things happen for a good reason. And that is proof. I went to jail. I lost everything. Kids, cars, jobs, everything. I seen my kids on Mother's Day in jail, in glass between. It was the most traumatizing thing. And I wrote that song, Guns N' Roses. And when I got out, I recorded it. And my mentor was like, at first it was just going to be an interlude because it was just too painful to talk about. It was just too painful. And I didn't want to relive it. So it was just going to be an interlude. But Charlie, one of my mentors out in Vegas, he said, Storm, that is a hit. And I'm like, really? Like, it's not even one of my favorite songs. It's not one of my
fan favorite stuff. Right.
Oh, yeah. Old, young, black, white, yellow, green. Speak English, don't speak English. They don't care. That song has done so much, and it's still doing crazy. I have not, ever since I released that song, I've been getting a royalty check for it every quarter. I've never missed, never. Mm-mm.
And then sometimes it's like you said a powerful thing, because we the creators, it's like, yo, it may not be our favorite. If he wouldn't have pushed it, that song may have never came out.
Listen, me and my producer talk about that all the time. Like, just imagine if we did not promote, if we didn't complete it, because it was not going to be a whole song. It was just literally, I got guns and roses, my heart is cold. It was just a little. That was it. It was going to transition to another song.
Wow.
And he was like, no. He had his foot on my neck, like, no, that is a complete song. That's a hit. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And yeah.
Okay. So all right. You said your mentor is legendary in the game, Charlie Mack, definitely an icon.
Oh, yeah.
How did that happen for you?
Yeah, off Reverb Nation. I'll tell you, I promised you what I was saying earlier about not worrying about all the logistics of everything and just being an artist and just putting your stuff out there. That's what I did. And he reached out to me on Reverb Nation. We talked for months via, messaging and Reverb Nation. And then after about 6 or 7 months, he said, what's your phone number? Wow. I said, here you go. Boom, 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 boom. And now we talk all the time. He's helped me with so many different aspects of the business, and just confidence and just, even as far as quality and production, it was a lot of things that me and my production team was doing that we weren't, like just different plugins that we wasn't using, different EQ methods and skills. I mean, he's been a true mentor to me and to my career over the last almost 15 years. Yeah. And he's that guy. When it comes to music placements, licensing, he's had probably, if I had to guess, thousands of placements from VH1 to the Animal channel and everything in between. I'm right underneath that. Wow. I haven't got to that point yet, but I'm on his ass.
All right. And that's the thing right there, y'all. So it's like pulling each other up, and that's a beautiful thing.
Healthy competition.
So there's nothing wrong with that. So let me ask you, okay, what are some of the things you learned over the years from being in the industry?
I learned that regardless of who's around and how much you see and how much money you make and how many rich friends you get at the table with, to be true to yourself. Because if we lived every day trying to please everyone else, you're going down the wrong path. You have to do what feels good. You have to do what feels good. Even if the outcome is good, you learn something from it and move on. I've learned so many things. I'm like a walking book of knowledge in this business. I'm not even going to lie. Here in Atlanta, they call me the vigilante. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But every time and every opportunity that I get to sit down with someone and just pull them to the side and say, hey, drop a Jew whenever I can, however I can, because knowledge is power. And the more you know in this business, the farther you will go, the more successful you will be, the more money you'll make, the happier you'll be, because this business is stressful. It's very stressful. If you look on social media every day, you will get sick. Like, oh man, I want to do that. Oh man, I need to be doing this. Oh man, I need to have the outfit. Oh man, I need to go here. Like you have to stay true to yourself. Remember why you started. Remember why you started in the first place. Stay true to yourself. Don't worry and consume yourself about everything and everyone that's moving and shaking, or even appear to be moving and shaking, because I know that 90% of this business is mirrors and smoke. I know 30-40% of the people that we watch on TV every day. And I know that everything that looks good ain't good. Everybody who smile all the time, most of the time, be the unhappiest people. So you have to keep your mental strong, keep your mental health together. And you can do that by alleviating a lot of the social media networks that they have and trying to compare. It's methods to this, you know.
Yeah.
It's methods in this business, and there's, you know, mechanisms like social media that'll make a person who's not strong up here and healthy up here question everything that they're doing. And you can't allow that. You have to have some type of barrier to say, okay, I'm going to get in the studio. I'm going to get and put myself in this room and write, not be on Facebook watching everybody else live, not be on Instagram watching everybody else post, but live yourself. And then post your shit. You know what I'm saying? Post your shit, get your feedback, find out your analytics, find out what your demographic is. You know, this is a business. Always keep in mind, this is a business. That's it.
It's
You
a
know,
business, definitely a business over the years. So it's like, okay, you've seen both sides. So it's like you've seen the early experience. Now you're doing it with the experience now. So it's like, what are some mistakes that some artists make coming into the game?
That's a long list.
Man.
I'm sorry. That's a long list. I can just speak for myself. How about that? I'll speak for myself. So, as I mentioned, one of the mistakes that I made jumping into the business is I was like, I can sing better than everybody. I can rap. You know, I look good. You know what I'm talking about? I'm that person, which ain't nothing wrong with being confident. But like I said, when I came to Atlanta, I have friends. Now they're friends. You know, that I was like, man, you can sing, or like, you know, girls that really can flow. You know I can flow, I know I can sing, but there are other people who can do just as much as you, if not more. So always be humble. That's one thing I would say. Then I'll say that from myself, being transparent as possible. You know, a lot of artists get their heads blowed up, whether it's family, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, or industry people. And then once they get in here and they realize that they're not alone, that it's 1,000 of you, you know what I'm saying? Rappers, 1,000 singers, 1,000 girls who look just like you, 1,000 niggas who dress just like you, ain't nothing, you know. So you got to find your niche. Find your niche, hone in on that, master your craft, and always be a student. Always be a student. Stay humble, remain humble. Remember why you started.
That's real right there. You just said
Yeah.
a lot. And the industry is always changing, different trends, different fads, everything is coming. So how did you stay focused throughout the times, and how did you stay relevant through all the years?
Well, to be always honest with you, I'm struggling in that area. So let me break it down like this. I'm one of those people that all the execs know, the A&Rs know, the PR people know, the writers and producers know, but the fans don't know. I've written songs for Tony Braxton, Day 26, J-Lo, a few others. And, you know, I got songs with Shauna from Disturbing the Peace. I got songs with Benny the Butcher. The fans don't know who I am. The industry knows who I am because I've paid dues. I've been paying dues behind the scenes. So what I would say for me, it's a little different because once I started to realize I was making more money writing for these artists and getting my music placed in these arenas, as I was speaking of before with music licensing, I kind of stepped back out of the limelight where I probably should have kept going. But, you know, I got tired. I think I got tired, complacent, and lazy, to be totally honest, because it was like, man, you know, going up here every weekend, trying to smile for these people when I don't feel like smiling, you know, being a mom, life in general, you know, personal things I'm struggling with, mental health is real, you know. And at some point, you know, I had down and say, man, is this even what I want to do anymore? Like, do I want to, you know, deal with these fly by night fans who love you today and they hate you tomorrow? You know, one thing come out bad about you, they gonna stop liking you. Then it's like, am I gonna allow all that pressure to, like, you know, weigh down on my shoulders and make me an unhappy person when I got 4 people looking at me every day? So me personally, I would say that I'm not as relevant as an artist as I would like to be. But I'm going to change that though. The good thing about that is I know how to. I've done it once and I can do it again. But right now, I've just been focused on, the money.
Right. There's
I've been
nothing wrong
focused
with
on
that because
money
that's
and teaching, and teaching. That's important to me because like I said, I'm a mother, and finding a new talent and seeing these new artists, up and coming artists that's struggling to get in the business, dying and selling their soul to get in the business. When I come across them, I try my damnedest to give them the honest, realist, upfront respect and knowledge that I can give them so that they don't make the same decision that, I see so many of us make in this business and get burnt out or be in jail or
right.
be shot or be dead or be used. You know what I mean? It's a
Right.
very tricky business.
Right. And
Very
that's the thing. I don't want you to go too deep. I don't want any names. You just said it. You just said a real point because people, they have this misconception. We hear stories, right? There's a lot of dangers. There's a lot of people they can't handle it. You get in and you realize you're in above your head in the industry that's like it's
swallow it
real on the other
whole.
side. It's right. So let's talk a little bit about some of the dangers. You don't have to put anybody on blast or nothing like that. We don't have to name drop. But just give them some real situations and you can keep it as 100 as how you like. You know what I'm saying? Without causing any drama on yourself.
So what is the question exactly?
The dangers of the industry and like what the misconception, how people think the industry is
Oh,
one way. Let's talk about the dark side on the other side.
Man. This business is a competitive sport, like football, like basketball, like baseball. You can come into this business as a group and end up being a solo artist. You've seen plenty of documentaries in the history on Goody Mob,
Right.
Destiny's Child, Day 26, Boys in the Hood. I mean, the Braxtons, the list goes on.
Right.
And again, this is just one of those professions that you have to have a team. It's a sport. So if you don't have a team, you're not in the game. So you have to have a team and you have to be able to assign roles. Everyone got to know their role in the team, or there is no team. And if there's
Right.
no team, you ain't in the game. So you got to have the right people around you. MC Hammer was a phenomenal artist, but he had the wrong team around him and he crumbled.
Right.
And so many others. That story right there, we hear it. Y'all may hear bits and pieces of it. You might know the whole thing, but it's the same situation all the time. Money changes people. Limelight changes people. Fame changes people, and all those things come into play. I mean, most empires fall because of a weak link somewhere in the team, but you got to have a team to play.
Right.
So, it's one of those things, it's so many things I can say. There's so many things I can say. I'm trying to say it without saying it, but
Right. Right.
use this. No, it's a business. This is a
Right.
business. It looks fun, but it's hard work. It's a business.
Right.
You're running the business. You're the business. I'm the business. This is a whole business from my head to my toe. From what I say, from what I don't say, from how I walk into a room, how I present myself, how I even interact with people that I don't like, because they have the advantage to blackball you or say something about you, and then the next person might not like. It's all about relationships and business.
And that works. And that's real right there. So
Yeah.
what's your process when you go into writing? What's your creative process when you're writing a song or a project?
Oh, man. It varies. Because I rap and sing, I have two different processes. I know this sounds crazy, but it's like Storm the rapper and Storm the singer are like two separate people. So it's like if I'm rapping, then I use different lingo. I use different slang, of course. And you count bars, and everything like that. But my structure, I typically start with my hook first. And then, because that's the meat and butter of any song is your hook. That's how you hook them and you reel them in. So, I start with my hook first. And then if I like the hook, then I go into my verse. That's kind of like my method with hip hop. With singing, I kind of like let the beat talk to me and I respond. It's like a marriage thing. So if the beat sounds sexy to me, I automatically light a candle. I may even put on something a little, sexy or whatever, get myself into the state of what the beat is trying to convey to me.
Wow.
and I make marriage, peanut butter and jelly.
And from there, and it just works. So let me ask you, okay, because like you said, they're totally different. So for Storm the Rapper, what's the sound and what's the message of Storm the Rapper?
Storm the Rapper is a powerful, no games played mother, teacher, philosopher, boss. And I just spilling out words, but that's what it all boils down to. My message is very, very less. It's no auto tune on my rapping. It's not the sing rapping, even though I'm a full-fledged singer. You would expect her to be doing the T-Pain thing or whatever.
Right.
But I don't, because I feel like what I have to say and the message I'm trying to convey needs to be said flat and straight and forward to your face. So right now I'm working on a hip hop project called Black Dreams. It's
Right.
all pro Black music. It's real hardcore hip hop. There may be a little bit of singing on it, and it's just to give the message more feel, the soul, just to bring the soul of a message out. But
Right.
it's really much fist to the sky. If you with us, get up. If you ain't, back. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
the climate. That's the climate. As you can see, the shirt I'm wearing a brand right now by a young Black man on Instagram. I
Wow.
love what he's doing, and I try to support his brand whenever I can. But yeah, that's the message I'm giving out right now, is to unify, lift up Black kings, lift up Black queens, stick together, love each other, love everyone and everything that looks like you, because it's enough of us and enough people that's not. So
Right.
and I'm very transparent about that Black Dreams project.
Right. Right. That
But with
sounds
my
like a song.
singing is the message is just love yourself, love yourself, and be a good woman, and
Wow. Empowering. All right, you're empowering, and it's like you said a thing, Black dreams. There's so much going on in the world over the last couple of years, right? The state of
yeah,
our people, the morality is down, people they getting frustrated, enough is enough.
it's
What's the
indeed.
message? What's the message to the women, and what words do you have for the brothers out there that might be watching?
Ooh, oh, so many. Well, to the sisters, stay strong. Know who you are. You don't have to show everything. You don't have to twerk everything. It's certain things about us that are so magnificent, so special, that should be sacred and treated as sacred. We are queens. We are royalty. And it's in our DNA. It's in our lineage. It's who we are. And there is a power that is putting us out in the light as we're not, on purpose. Again, it is a business. And this is dominated by dark forces. The entertainment world is dominated by a higher power that is not always glorifying the queens and kings that we are, on purpose, for our youth to be brainwashed and sucked into, oh yeah, this is what a woman's supposed to be treated like. Oh, this is what a woman's supposed to look like. And we have to be strong-minded Black queens, Nubian queens, and understand our worth, understand that we are royalty, and treat ourselves as such, regardless of how the media is portraying us. That's what I would say to us. And to the brothers, man, it's so much to say to you.
Man, just keep it real,
Stay
keep it real,
strong.
because we need help. We need help. Keep
We
it real.
love y'all. We love y'all. But we need y'all to lead. We need leaders. The Black women are leading, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. But we don't have a choice. So we need Black men to step up and be Black men, Black kings, and lead, because we're supposed to be led by the Black man. And that's my personal opinion.
Right.
But as of right now, being a Black woman in Atlanta in the music business, we're leading. And
Wow.
me personally, being an alpha female that's been leading my whole life, I would like to see more alpha males leading. I would like to see more Black strong men leading Black women, not degrading us, calling us bitches and hoes in every song and every opportunity, and doing all the typical things. It's become typical now, and I'm just tired of seeing our Black brothers in such a bad light. I wish that our Black brothers seen what I see in y'all. I love my Black brothers. I have 3 Black boys. I raised them to be Black kings. They know who they are. They wear their crowns every day. And I just wish that there were more Black kings who were aware of what's going on and tuning that out and getting back into who they are. That's just where I'm at.
Wow, and that's real right there. The message even now is more like, drugs or, downgrading. How
Yeah.
important now is the content and the words and the substance of keeping that alive? Like, even a lot of our pain, a lot of our adversity as a people produce some of our biggest records and some of the songs that we connected to, because it's like we gained strength through that. How
Indeed.
important is keeping that alive in the industry, in the music business?
I totally agree with you, by the way. Now, when you say keeping it alive, are you talking about the negative aspects of and our pain and our triumph, or are you talking about which part are you talking about exactly?
Keeping like the story where it's like victory, where we're talking about, it's not as exaggerated, it's more reality. Like, so if you're going through, you might have to work them 2 jobs or whatever. Where it's
Oh,
not.
yeah. So give me an example, like Pac back in the day, or like give me an example of a rapper that you would say doing that.
I
Who?
would say like Pac back in the day, or like Lupe or Most Def and them type of rappers. Tribe Called
Definitely Mos
Quest.
Def. Yeah, yeah. Now Lupe is the one who was on Saturday Night Live just a couple.
Yeah.
That is that one, right? I think
Right.
he's from Cleveland, as a matter of fact. I think he's from Ohio.
Right.
Well, to answer your question, I really don't hear a lot of artists doing that.
Right.
I mean, you got Jay-Z who talked about pressure, you know what I'm saying? Who for applying pressure, coming from pressure, and showing that he a diamond after all the pressure. You got few and in between. Most of the rappers right now, to me, especially the males, the African American males, are all in the competition to be the hardest killer.
Right.
And it ain't the killer or the white man that's holding you down. It ain't killing the oppressor. It ain't killing, nobody but another person who look like you. That don't impress me.
Right.
That don't impress me, and it doesn't excite me, and it worries me, because I'm watching our oppressor use us against us like always.
Right.
And here we are. Well, I kill this nigga. I kill this nigga. I kill this nigga. Well, I kill this. Everybody know I'm shiesty, but who shiesty? I'm really shiesty. You know what I'm saying? Don't
Right.
get me wrong. I'll listen to it too, but I'll be listening to it like, this is crazy. Like, you turn the channel, one song is the same thing. I kill a nigga dead. And then like 2 or 3 months later, he dead or in jail for 10 years. Shout out to YF and Lucci. That's one of my good homeboys. Wow. Sit down, young boy NBA, good homeboy. Love this little guy. You know what I'm saying? These is, it's I just keep seeing the same thing. So I don't know. I wish that I know Lloyd Banks just came out with an album, and J. Cole just came out with an album. And I did hear some of the stuff off both of them albums. I liked them. It seemed like maybe a little bit of a different direction may be coming, Yeah. So I think hip hop is moving in the right direction, but it's just, we need more teachers. We need more people who really, who's not afraid to lose fans to reach the youth. Like Lil Baby.
Right.
That's the current prime example.
Right. I like what he's doing right now.
Yes, I love what he's doing. Love it.
Okay. So, the game is changing for the better. There's a lot going on right there, like you said. But it's like, we got to keep the message positive, and we got to keep it real with the people. Because just telling them one side, we're saying, okay, all this drug talk. We don't talk about the prison. We don't talk about the abuse. We don't talk about the dangers of the lifestyle. So it's like people on the outside looking in, I notice a lot of times they're actually living what they're hearing, because like this is all they're listening to. So it's like this becomes their norm. They're desensitized by it now.
You absolutely right.
So now, from looking from the outside in, is like, when we can see, it's like, don't go that way. But it's like everybody else is just marching to destruction. And it's like, don't go that way. Mm-hmm. How can we change the narrative on that as artists and creators of the world?
What we doing right now, talking about it, being transparent about it, having people who have a platform like yourself, like myself, and using it in a positive way and promoting it. Just like we have to match the amount of negativity being promoted with positivity. Right. We have to match it. We have to match it. Every time we hear something negative out, we got to put something positive out. We have to, because we're raising our kids to either follow the sheep or the wolves. And that's what we're doing. So, that's one way. But like I said, this project I'm working on, I'm really hoping that it does good, because I am taking a different route. I'm not doing what all the other female artists, especially hip hop artists, are
Right.
doing. I'm not promoting the same message at all. Not to throw shade to their message, because I've been there. But once you become a mother, once your eyes and the scales fall off your eyes, once you get to a certain plateau in life, once you see other people looking up to you and you making an impact on people's lives, that's when I realized I needed to change my narrative. So I'm hoping that more artists come forward, like Lil Baby, and so many others, and actually, it's another one. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. Him and his wife, from Houston. I love this brother, and I can't think of his name. Toby.
Toby.
Oh, tell me you hip to Toby.
I gotta get
I think I'm
with
saying
it.
his name right. I hope so.
I'm about to get on him. I ain't checked that out
Yes.
yet.
Oh man, it's little small movements going on. It's
Right.
little small movements going on. Like Ciroc. I don't know if you hip to the female Ciroc. She's dope.
Right.
Mom, I think her name is Mumu Fresh. I can't remember her name.
Momo Fresh.
Yeah. Her from, I think, DC. She's hot. Rhapsody. I love Rhapsody. Shout out to the positive queens out here, uplifting our Black women, uplifting our kings, and raising our kids to think more of us than what we've been brainwashed to think of ourselves, and got a message. That's what it's about with me.
Wow. And that's the thing. You said something earlier, and I don't want to stay on it too long, but you were talking about the smoke and mirrors, because a lot of these young people, they see the videos, they see this chains, they see all this stuff, and they think this is my way out.
Right.
So it's like, no, then you have like the kind of positive message. I give you like the Nas's and the different people like that may not be as flamboyant. They may not have the big budgets.
Of course.
So to them, it doesn't look as appealing. Like, yo, this, the more positive, the harder your walk is going to be.
Right.
It's like, I talk about Percocet, so I talk about Molly's.
Right.
I got the big budget. So it's like, yo, for the people that the artists, let's dispel that misconception. What advice would you give to them on that? Where they're thinking they following the trend is going to get me the big money, but it's like, it's going to get you money now, but it's not.
Right.
Once that fades, you fade. Can you break that down for them right quick? Being a creator.
I'll try my best. So know this, you have to have multiple streams of income to be successful. And there's one thing that separates a successful person from a very successful person. A very successful person knows when to say no. Wow. A very successful person says no more than the average person, because being successful is long term. Perks and Molly's, that's the drug for the 2000s. That's for the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? What's next? Ecstasy was then, mushrooms was then, shrooms was then. I'm from the streets. We go on and on about drugs, so we could talk about that all day. But the thing is, that's seasonal stuff. And what you're leaving is curses on your children, on your children's children, on your children's children's children. So you're causing long-term damage versus getting in the game, speaking a positive message, leaving a legacy of that's going to follow you through the rest of your life of positivity, and then taking the income and the money that you're making from your positive message and investing into real estate, investing into the community, investing into flipping whatever it is that you want to flip. So these artists that you look at on a regular basis that's talking about the negative aspects of our culture, most of them that's their mainstream of income. Whereas you got artists like Nas, I would even say T.I. T.I.'s borderline, but he does a lot of positive things. And these are people who have multiple streams of income. You don't have to rely solely on just one stream of income. And if that's the thing you're worried about, get in the game, build your audience, find your people, because we're out here. You know what I'm saying? There is people out here who is tired of listening to the same old conversation, watching the same old video. You could be talking about nothing, and it got to be a naked girl in the video. It just got to be some ass and titties in the video. You just got to put it in there. I mean, they tell you that. They're like, okay, well, this sounds great. Yeah, okay, move her in the video. Okay, pants. Okay, that's just how it's structured. It's structured for our demise. So if you're in a position to, have a platform and you can uplift and elevate our people, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
And that leads into you're also an activist. How did you get into being an activist in 2020?
My whole life, my grandmother was born in Greenville, Mississippi, which is a very racial. Hey, we all. Let me not even get to that. She born in Greenville, Mississippi,
Right.
but back in 1913, and just she's my best friend. My grandmother passed about 14 years ago. And she was my best friend. She lived to be almost 100 years old. And just the message that my grandma was a strong, Black, fearless woman. I'm half Indian and half Black, and, Lord knows what else back in that time. Ain't no telling. Um, just to be
Right.
honest. But, just growing up with strong Black women, my mother was the baby of 22 kids. My grandmother had 22 children, and my mother was the baby. So what got me into activism is having the stories and the history of our people passed down to me from real life experiences. And I'm just like, wow, at some point, I'm like, okay, am I going to sit here once I see this stuff start to re-happen again and not do anything, not use my voice, not use my platform? Or am I going to stand up for what I believe in? And I love being Black. I love it. I couldn't imagine being anything other than African American. I love it. I love it. And I
Right.
love my people. I love everyone that looks like me, regardless of what they're doing, what they're going through, what their background is. I don't care. I love everyone that looks like me. And I encourage us all to do that.
Right.
So activism is something that I do on a daily basis. Whenever I can, I believe that we should be treated just as fair as everyone else, if not, of course. Yeah.
Wow. And that's real right there. And
I
that's
be
the
having
thing.
to stop myself with that part because I'm very passionate about our people, and it really upsets me over the last couple of years the recycle, the things that's happening, from the deaths of our youth to police brutality to everything that's been going on. It's just like, wow, it just blows my mind.
Right.
It blows my
And,
mind.
and it's like now with them planted on the TV is right there in your face. It's like we
Right, you
already
ain't got
knew in
no
our
choice. Yeah,
right,
to
right,
feel something and want to
right,
be involved in some way.
right.
So yeah, but I've been a part of the NAACP since I was like 18 years old.
Since
Yeah.
18.
And I remember my father I was like, Dad, I want to be a Panther. My dad was like, no. I was like, I want to be a Black Panther. I want to be a Black
Right.
Panther. He was like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm serious.
Wow. So I'm pretty sure you hip to it. They just did it was like a show on the Black Wall Street in Tulsa.
Oh yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
All right. So what
I
did you think
watched it.
about that? And then even down to like even with the when they the first original free men, how they took the Indian slaves and they freed them, they gave them freedom. I didn't know that certain Indians had slaves back then, but watching that
I didn't know
documentary,
about that either.
right,
I Okay, so I'm in Georgia. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
right,
There is a place here in Georgia called Lake Lanier. It's pretty famous because Usher's son, I believe, drowned there, and a couple other celebrities' children drowned there in the last 15, 20 years.
wow,
But similar to Tulsa, Oklahoma, this was a predominantly Black place that was prospering in the South. And they did the same thing here that they did in Tulsa and
really,
so many other places.
right,
So many other places, but they don't get talked about. You have people who are still alive in Tulsa that's able to share the experiences and the stories and everything. But this town here, and you have to look that up if you're not familiar with it. I can't remember the name of the city. I know it
right,
starts with the O, but this town here, no one is alive from that place. They killed everyone and then flooded the town and put a man-made lake
on
over the
top,
place. That's what it is now. It's called Lake Lanier, but this actually has a city underneath it that was all Black, predominantly Black owned and ran. So
wow,
this isn't nothing that is just happening. It's just we're just waking up. And that's what I'm saying. That's the climate. That's why I feel personally that once the scales fall off your eyes and you become aware of the dangers that your children are dealing with on a daily basis, the dangers that your aunts and uncles and mothers are facing, that your husband is facing, your wife is facing, and the tools that are being used to destroy our people. I feel that if you have a platform, it's your duty to take accountability and say, okay, let me help educate, let me help inform and teach my people, you
Right.
know. So yeah, I seen it. I seen it.
Yeah, that's real right there. And like you said, as I'm watching, I'm like, I wonder how many small towns, how many
It's
places,
going
like,
went through that.
right. So
Yeah.
that's real right there. So okay, you
Mhm.
got the actresses also. So what type of roles have you done in your career? How
Oh
did
my
you get into
gosh. So
acting?
when I first moved to Atlanta, I was an extra in everything. Everything. It's like real big here in Atlanta to get into extras. Like like I said, I didn't have a job. I knew I wasn't gonna go work a regular, 9 to 5 job. I wanted to do something in entertainment. So there was different opportunities to work on Tyler Perry sets and all type of sets. So when I first came here, the first year, I worked with Tyler Perry on the Have and Have Nots. I
Wow.
had worked on him on the first season. Then I went to jail. Listen at this though. Got out of jail, went and applied again for the second season. He ended up writing me in a
Wow.
part as an inmate in jail.
Understood. Wow.
No, that was crazy. But
Right.
yeah, outside of that, I just thought I'll throw that out there because that was so funny. I was like, man, I just got out of these damn clothes now and cuffs. And now I'm about to go back on film.
Back. Wow. Wow.
Oh, it was crazy. But
Right.
yeah, I did that. I ended up getting a little speaking part on Saints and Sinners. I was the court clerk in a court scene on like season 7. I think no,
Wow.
season first season, episode 7, something like that. I can't remember.
Right.
Then I did some stuff on The Walking Dead. I was a couple of zombies a few times on The Walking Dead. So yeah, I've had my little experiences on the big screen.
Okay. All right. And that's
But
the
the
thing,
Tyler
right?
Perry one was very special because when we worked on set with Tyler Perry, I actually worked with him for about a year straight, almost about 10 months. It was
Wow.
about 10 months working with Tyler Perry, and we ate together in his studio. We fellowshiped together. He was one of all of the crew that worked on Tyler Perry's set were homeless people.
Wow.
The man that held the light up was from off the streets. When we got off the scene, I've seen this guy like outside, like like he would recruit people and feed them and pay them and
Right.
give them jobs. Like that was one thing. I don't care what nobody says about Tyler Perry. Working with him for almost a year, I seen him in a light that was just so humble and so giving and caring and considerate. He didn't have that I'm better than everyone ego. He sat down with everyone. It was a beautiful experience. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's the thing right there. You got a couple books. You lived a life that a lot of people they just dream about right there. You
So
definitely
yeah,
yeah, definitely. But it's like you deserve it. You put the work in. So let me
right,
ask you, for the
definitely.
people that's following and the fans, what can they expect coming up and for the rest of the year?
All right. So I'm working on my hip hop soul album. It's called Black Dreams. This is going to be my debut hip hop project. I threw out a single here and there, but this is going to be a full-fledged album. I'm also working on the book Guns N' Roses because I'm going to talk about my whole experience being incarcerated. That is a lot. That
Wow.
is a lot to talk about because no one looks at my Instagram or Facebook or see me in person and be like, this girl did a year or two in jail. No, it was
Right.
a whole different experience. I'm gonna talk all about it. I'm doing a short film on it. And then I also just got recruited. Now this is major. I wasn't gonna say it, but I'm giving it to you first because I like
Wow.
you.
Wow. Wow. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate it.
I just got recruited as one of the writers on Snowfall.
Wow. That's big.
Snowfall is a series on Netflix. They're going into
Right.
their second season. If you're not familiar with it, get familiar. It's
Definitely
a really
familiar.
dope, powerful Black TV show. That just all happened off connections, being at the right place at the right time,
Wow.
converting like this. They went and did research on me, checked out a few interviews, listened to a few of my songs, watched a few of my films, and was like, "How would you think about being a writer?" I'm like, "On what?"
Right.
you know,
Snowfall. Right.
I'm really looking forward to this. This whole thing. And then simultaneously, I'm recruiting for next year's ciphers for the Black History Month ciphers.
Okay.
I'm looking for really conscious, awoke brothers and sisters that got something positive to say about the culture, about being Black, about Black history,
Right.
about the present. about the future of our culture and everything. Is a live band, of course, the Living Legends band, and we recorded that live in the studio. We give you the footage and everything. It's $40 to be a part of it or whatever. But for that $40, you get a full-fledged band. We give you a reel, the whole thing, and we promote it. You don't pay for anything. So, so I'm really definitely looking forward to that. That's something I'm gonna keep doing until I can't do it no more. And I'm hoping that my kids will pick it up and do it, because I don't think our people really even acknowledge how important Black History Month is. I know it's the shortest month of the year. I know you're like, oh, why we only get a month, but no other race has a month. We do. Why not captivate on that, celebrate that, and promote that in a positive light, all of the accolades of our people. We've created so many things. It's so important to acknowledge it. That's just how I feel. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's real right there. You also got a record out now with Griselda. How did that happen? Like,
That is a part of the short film Guns N' Roses, Paranoia. Right. Yes. And that happened. I was a part of the house band for the A3C Festival 2000 and what's this year? 2021. 2019, I was the house band. We did an honoree party for Wyclef Jean and Jermaine Dupri, and it was so freaking awesome. But anyway, while we were there, I met Benny, real humble brother. Again, he was just getting his name out in the whole Atlanta scene. And I was like, hey, well, I'm gonna introduce you to some people. You introduced me to some people, blah blah blah. We met, linked up, did the record, and I'm like, I had the record started with the hook, but I didn't have the song, and I knew I wanted someone on it, but I didn't know who. But when I seen Griselda's, their connection, their performance, and when I heard his bars, I said, listen, I love a challenge. I love a challenge. I said, he gonna be a challenge. Man, we got to the studio together. He said, what you writing? I said, what you writing? And he was like, he let me hear what he spit. I said, oh no. I said, I even got a video. I'm like, no, I ain't gonna let you outwrite me.
Wow.
I love the challenge. It was very, very, very honestly really fun working with Benny in the studio on that particular single. Yeah.
Okay, but so y'all were in the studio together. So it wasn't like he sent you the verse, y'all were there together.
No. Wow. We was at my studio here in Atlanta. Yeah, Ear Candy Productions. Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about that. If anybody's in Atlanta, they're looking for a studio, let's talk about Ear Candy.
Yes, Ear Candy Productions is a really private studio. It's a very private studio because it's in my home. Right. So I don't really bring a lot of people to it, like you said, I prefer to send files back and forth. That's what I do for a lot of the licensing things, unless I have to hire a singer to do something or hire a rapper to do something, and then if they want to come here, if we have that type of relationship, you can come here, but I don't bring everybody. I ain't gonna lie. And I told you I have some bad experiences here. Right. I ain't trying to go back to jail, man. I ain't trying to.
No, that's the thing. Do you play any instruments? You definitely do you play any instruments?
I played the trumpet throughout elementary school up until high school, but I don't play it anymore. Your lips be sore as I don't know what playing trumpet. But I play keys a little bit. I'm more of a digital player. I got a controller, and I just use the programs, the plugins, but not really.
Okay. So all right, you got a keyboard controller. Just curious, what keyboard controller you using?
Oh shoot, I don't know. It's like an MC something.
Okay.
I have a team of people who buy, I give them the money, they buy the equipment. It's just like a regular generic controller. Yeah.
Okay.
But back in the day, when I first moved here, I had a Triton, I had a Triton and all that. But now it's just everything's digital. The same sounds I can get out of that board, I can get from one of the programs. So
right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I had a machine, the Mini X is like, it's kind of small, so the same thing I had.
I think that's what I got. I think that is what I got. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a very exclusive one. You can do a lot on that one.
Yours got the roll board and the scratcher.
The roll board scratcher, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. So that's definitely the game changer right there, because you don't need all the big boards and equipment. No. All right. So
I still like to go to the studios with the $60,000 control boards every now and again, though. Especially it's about the engineer, though. It's about you knowing your stuff at the end of the day.
Right. The engineer is the most important person. The engineer, because if it ain't mixed right,
that's everything.
That's everything right there. That makes it got to be right. So, okay. I think we touched on anything. Is it anything that we may have forgotten that the people may need to know? Because I know you're doing a lot, yo, and I'm definitely blessed to have you because not
Thank you
only
so much, Simon, for having me. I appreciate it. I've been watching your shows. You be touching on some real good topics. And I get interviews all the time, but it's the same question, but this was really exciting. I really appreciate you having me on. I had a great time.
I definitely
But I just
appreciate
want
you.
to shout out a few people. I want to shout out AD, one of the co-founder of Ear Candy Productions. I want to shout out my kids, Adam, Israel, Zaya, DJ, for being great, for pushing me, for loving me, and knowing that our time is always taken from them, but they always there.
Right,
And they understand, and I want to shout out to everybody who's out here chasing their dream. Don't give up. Love on yourself throughout it all. Give yourself praise for the small accomplishments that you make, no matter how small they are. Don't overlook them. Give yourself praise. Give yourself credit when it's due. And keep going, man. Keep going.
That's the thing right there. And I definitely appreciate you again. Hopefully down the road when you have anything going on, or we might just talk black people. We might talk about Black history.
Anytime. Put me in there.
So hopefully you'll come back on. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, and we appreciate everybody that tuned in. So this is the Proof in the Pudding podcast show. I go by the name of Sion 919. We had the legendary Miss Storm in the building, and we appreciate her for coming through. We're gonna before we go, we're gonna have you introduce the Benny song, and then we're gonna go to that, and then we're gonna sign off.
Bam. Right. So y'all about to listen and get an exclusive sneak peek of no, that ain't right. Y'all about to tune in to my latest single featuring Benny the Butcher from Griselda Camp, and it's called Paranoia.
All right, and thank you again. I appreciate you and salute you. Thank you.
Sometimes I don't know who to trust. Hey, yo, Storm, what up?
What up, B?
Let's go.
Everywhere I
If you got a second guess it,
I keep looking over
then don't
my
trust it.
shoulder, 'cause something's getting close.
Look,
It's
streets made me paranoid. I don't know who watching us. Rats keep popping up. These traps made me popular. Them out of town trips, spinning racks made me obvious. Them young shooters standing around with gats made me confident. Y'all 12-pack sippers, we Hellcat whippers who left home young and brought bells back with us. You different, caught a case and brought 12 back with you. If you don't feel like you solid, you better tell that nigga. I was set up by niggas I led, niggas I fed. That's why these paranoid thoughts fill up my head. Before she answers, she consider my bread. She eat the dick, so I make her say a grace before she get in my bed. When it's on, you gotta choose sides, that's a fact. My bitch run around in Vera Wang slides in a trap. It's crazy when your friends stick knives in your back. Rule number 1, cut ties with a rat. Let's go.
everywhere I go. I keep looking over my shoulder, 'cause something's getting close. It's paranoia. I question everyone I know. Tell me, who can I trust when this world is so cold?
Who can you trust in the world so cold? For a couple hundred likes, these pigeons sell they soul. I used to run a couple blocks that I don't scroll no more. I used to roll up with these thoughts, now I don't smoke no more, for real. I need my space from these lames, I'm too official. Never dolo when I'm switching in lanes. Me and my pistol be the closest ones to you, will leave you needing a tissue. You tell them your issues is leverage they use against you. I pick and choose my rounds, I'm top shelf. Fell down and bossed up, nobody gave me no help. Never a handout, played the cards that I was dealt from the bottom. Just me and mama, I question my mental health. 80s baby, I'm crazy, I tell you now. Feel strange or it looks shady, I'm ready to lay you down. Life is too short to be playing around with you clowns. Can't avoid it, a little naughty, I'm chiefing up underground.
Paranoia.